Radio Stoke, 7 minutes to 10, with the discussion of the leaders of the four main groups on Cheshire East Council. It's made up of 50 Conservatives, 14 Labour, 4 Liberal Democrats, 12 independents from various groups, and 2 UKIP members. The council's been in the news a lot over the last few years about the concerns about the countryside, the things we discussed this morning, HS2, council staff being used to write political tweets against the rules, new bypasses for Crewe and Congleton. What kind of reputation do you think the council has? Rod Fletcher for the Liberal Democrats.
Well, from my experience from members of the public, I'm afraid it's not got a very good reputation. Wow. There's Lime Green as well, which, a lot of people are not very happy. I'm also an Alsager Town Councillor, and we have public participation time at every meeting. And virtually at every meeting, you have members of the public standing up and strongly criticising Cheshire East Council. And I do find that regrettable, but hopefully after May the 7th we can move forward.
David Newton for Labour.
Well, just make 3 points here, and I expect Michael to interrupt me when I make them. I think the reputation of Cheshire East Council is mixed, but I think it's on the whole, amongst the general population and the residents where I move, the reputation is rather more negative than positive. Maybe that will change. I sincerely hope it would, when whichever party is running this council is actually putting into place policies which people can agree with. But Rod Fletcher's already referred to Lime Green. That was an absolute fiasco.
Let's just explain what Lime Green was briefly for those who don't know. This was the council started building a recycling centre near Macclesfield without the necessary planning permissions, and it breached certain rules.
And I got rid of everyone involved. Never an investigation. Everybody got rid of. That's the way you do honest politics.
Back to David Newton, sorry to interrupt.
Well, it was a fiasco and seen in that kind of way. There have been some improvements made since. I would readily concede that, but to behave in the kind of way in which they did simply wasn't acceptable. I think its reputation over the conduct of the local plan, the moving around, the shifting about in terms of the bases of that plan, and the production of the data and the failure to be able to protect areas of Cheshire East has meant that the view has been rather more negative of Cheshire East. I think there's been a considerable amount of concern, certainly been a concern of mine, about the nature of an open and transparent council, and the way in which we relate to our residents, and I would want to see that improved. And just as a matter of one practical issue, all this development is going on in relation to major infrastructure. A lot of my residents are very concerned about the fact that their roads and their pavements are so bad.
Did you know that in Labour areas, the less reporting of potholes and pavements than any other area in Cheshire East?
Not in my area,
well,
Michael.
Maybe in yours, I can tell other parts of Crewe, you've not reported
Not in my area.
And we have done 300,000 potholes, and we've done 23 million of investment.
I'm not talking about potholes.
Let me interrupt you here, because Michael Jones, I want to give you a moment to defend your record before the news, but I need to bring in Brian Sylvester first about Cheshire East's reputation.
Sadly, Cheshire East has a terrible reputation with the public of Cheshire East, and people are, as I said before, seething with anger about what's gone on. They've stumbled from disaster to disaster. My colleagues have already mentioned Tweetgate, Lime Green, the planning fiasco.
Okay,
it's time for a fresh start. We only have elections every 4 years. This is the time to make the change, and UKIP are the main challenger to Conservatives in Cheshire East, so vote UKIP on May the 7th.
Michael Jones for the Conservatives.
Let me be very clear, it's a very serious point being made by Brian. If UKIP get in, we will be a disastrous place for Cheshire East. And they're not a main challenger. Let me answer the point very clearly to you. I mean, it's very simple. You know, you've asked the question. It's not a question I think should be on a hosting, but, you know, you asked it. I'm the only person who can defend it. Number 3 in the whole country on education. Number 1 on fostering. Number 1 on no more needs. Every teenager has a job. Number 1 in unemployment in the Northwest. The best place to live and work in the Northwest. Number 1 on broadband, now going into rural areas. Number 1 going forward in terms of wealth cheapest place for council tax reduction 6 years in a row. You know what? Everyone wants to have a go at what's going on in Cheshire East, but I'll say this to you. It's a very serious decision people are about to take. You can play around and say you want to be EU because of EU immigration, though we have done things about that. But the real choice for Cheshire East is very simple. We offer you the choice, the best one for choice for future, and we offer you the chance to have a better future, a stronger future, a wealthier future, and a healthier future. And I'll give you the simple fact that under my leadership, more people are working and people are living healthier, longer, and that's good news. And we're still the best place in the Northwest.
Given that you say that, why do you think it has these reputational issues that the other leaders suggest it has?
Because that's all they've got. I'm about to sell Lime Green. They've got nothing else. You don't hear policies about what they need to create jobs. You don't hear policies about how they're going to deal with health. I've got plans, and I'm introducing plans across the board. We've done greater transparency than ever before. We'll do
talk
more.
to the residents, Councillor Jones.
I do talk, Councillor, it's interesting now you want to have a go, but I do talk to residents. I go to planning meetings, unlike you. I do a lot of things around. Let me be very clear to you. We're hearing a different story, a very different story in our ears, because you know what?
Different people that I'm speaking to.
That's right. And I'll tell you something, okay, the elector will have their voice over you too at the end of the next few days, and we'll look forward to that response too.
Thank you very much for joining us on BBC Radio Stoke.